Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had an amazing. Sorry, I'm trying this new lipstick and it feels kind of dry. I hope everyone had an amazing 4th of July. I had totally woke up on Friday and I said I'm going to stay in my bed. Sorry. I was with you all in spirit. In spirit. I was with you all. So this week, I want to talk to you all about a few things. The main thing is okay. The main thing I want to talk to y'all about today is about being a trailblazer. A lot of you probably hear me talk about being a trailblazer. Um, it's something that I have been called, and the more that I understood what trailblazers were, it started to make sense. And so I do identify myself as a trailblazer. And so today I just really want to just have this awesome conversation about trailblazers and help you see the trailblazer in yourself. Many times we don't see this because, words have meanings, and so often people don't define those words properly. So they just, if someone uses it and they call that person that, to them it's like, well, I don't have a following. I don't have thousands and millions of followers, so I can't be a trailblazer. Let me tell you, a lot of people. Good morning, Paula. Happy Monday. There are a lot of people out here that have fancy titles. They have several degrees. They have millions of followers. They have money, and a lot of them may still not be a trailblazer, right? So I want you to start looking at yourself and seeing how and where in your life you could be a trailblazer, and that could be within your family. The one thing that I often say is that a trailblazer is not someone who's doing something brand new for the first time overall. It is typically within their family, within their community, within like their friend circle. They're like the first one in that group that is going out there to do things like that. So I want to give you like the best example that most of us may know. And I have actually done one of these workshops, but speaking to first generation college students, the word trailblazer is typically associated with them, right? They're the first ones that are in their family that are going off to college. And that is a huge milestone, right? That is breaking something within that family dynamic that never existed prior to you. And so that's what a trailblazer is. And so as you are, looking to build your life, I just want you to start seeing, where am I the trailblazer? Where am I the first one? Right? Because that's really what trailblazing is. You're the first to go out there and to do it. And so, you don't have to be a trailblazer. You don't have to be one of the people on social media that is online like myself. But you're out here and you're just like, I have this goal, I have this dream, and it seems outrageous, it seems insane, but I'm gonna believe. Right, I'm gonna believe that I can do this, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm going to make a plan. Sometimes we don't even have a plan. We just go out here and we just do it because we know that this is something that we have to do, right? Especially when you bring God into it, right? When God comes into the mix and he starts to give you these instructions and that pathway, right? That's where the obedience is going to come in. And you have, like, I don't want to say you have to, but you have to follow his obedience, but you should. But I just want us to just look at that. Like, your trailblazer is the first in the group, in that community that's out here going into uncharted waters. They've never been there before. They've never done it before. They don't have a blueprint. They don't have anyone else to go to in their family, into their circle, and saying, hey, I want to go and do this. Can you help me out? Right? That's not going to always be the case. So you can go into the Bible, you can read the story about Deborah, right? But just look in your everyday life, right? You're the first in your family to buy a home, to go to college, to get that first six figure job. Um, to move across country, to go to therapy. Like, we have to look at, and we have to really put some respect on the first of doing many things, especially when our families are not doing them. Right. Therapy is a big one. You know what I'm saying? And so I use those examples because I think so often we forget those things. And that very first. And I want you to get excited about being that first. I want you to get excited about going out there and saying, look, I don't know. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to be known everywhere. I just know that if I don't do this, my family's gonna have an impact. And that's the second thing. To me, and this is just to me, and it's because just because the way that my brain is functioning, but to me, trailblazing looks like a lot like healing. One more second. Okay. So we really have to look at trailblazing like this is a form of healing, right? So a lot of times we're breaking family cycles. Me moving to Oklahoma from New York City, most of my family's either in New York or they're along the East Coast. There's no one on this side. Not to my knowledge, there's no one on this side of the world, this side of the country. That was breaking a cycle. We broke a cycle of codependency, right? My family, especially my immediate family, my mom, my sister, my niece, like we're super close knit. Like if I move, they move, they move, I move. And so for me to move out of that, that is now helping the family cycle. Do you realize that me moving here put my entire family in a space where they now had to start to solo travel? My mom has traveled by herself to meet me somewhere. My niece, right? She did it at 16. My sister now, she just goes all over the place. She meets me wherever I say, yeah, I want to go to this concert. And that is breaking a family cycle, right? That's giving a family an opportunity to see a part of the country that they have never envisioned in being in. That's a huge milestone. That is a huge wave that can potentially open up their eyes and saying, the cost of living is a lot cheaper over there. You know what? The houses are not that bad. Yeah, we might be in Tornado Valley, because Oklahoma and Tulsa is in Tornado Valley. But you know what? It's not that bad. We can have a life outside of New York City. That is a form of healing, right? Because what I found for myself, I found the peace that I was looking for. I found the joy that I've been seeking, just because I decided to take that leap of faith and still go into the uncharted waters. Again, prior to August of 2023, I had never thought about, I had never envisioned or ever living or even visiting the state of Oklahoma. And here I am almost 2 years later to the date that I actually came to visit. So I healed my nervous system, right? I healed my anxiety because that's how I felt in New York. And so making that move, I'm now doing things that other family members are now thinking about, like, yeah, this is not satisfying me. This is not something that I'm looking for, and I want more, and I want my money to go a lot further. And now they're starting to have those conversations. Now whether they do it or not, it doesn't matter, right? They now have a blueprint. They now have a blueprint of saying, you know what, I have someone in my family that got paid, right? So I'm gonna tell you, I got paid to move. I see people on my timeline, TikTok and all of them, and they're like, "Oh, people talk about it. It's cheap to move and all of the stuff, and nobody's gonna pay you to move." Well, someone paid me to move, right? Um, I was able to buy a house, right? I would not have been able to do that in New York because the housing in New York is ridiculous right now. So I now have a blueprint that I can show them. I can give them a guidance as to like how they can do this. Um, and then the last thing is just that it just helps you to build a new way forward, right? I think so many times we don't realize that when you do go into those uncharted waters and you're able to survive, right? You now have a blueprint of saying, okay, now I know where I can go and how I can do it the next time, right? If there is a next time. I don't know if Tulsa is going to be my solo or cannot confirm that. I do know that for now, I'm supposed to be here. I do believe that God wants me to be here and needs me to be here, and I'm going to be obedient in that. But if it does come down to God saying, you know what? It's time for you to pack up. It's time for you to go to the next destination. I don't have the anxiety. I don't have that fear. All of those different thoughts that I had prior to moving here, because there was some anxiety here. A lot of people look at my transition and they feel like, oh, Tanisha, it was easy for you. It wasn't. It was a lot of mental battle work, right? I had to mentally battle with myself and not go into this spiral of, what if this happens? I mean, even just driving here, so many people started to pump fear into me. Oh my gosh, you got to be careful driving from New York to Oklahoma because there's sundown towns, and young black girl, they're gonna try to kidnap you. And I'm just like, why do we do that? You know what I'm saying? Someone out here is going to take that first leap, taking that step towards a life that they know is meant for them. And although no one else in their circle, in their family, their friend group has ever done it, they're taking that leap. Why do we have, as a society, have to pump that fear into individuals? Like, we got to stop. And this is why I say to my trailblazers, this is why I created a community for you. Because once you get that aha moment that you are a trailblazer, you are going to need to be surrounded by people that understand what you're about to go through. There are going to be people, and I call those people the champions. And I always reference that. If you go and read the book, The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson, he talks about that. That is a book for trailblazers, right? So in my Inspirational Trailblazers, that's one of the books that we're going to study, because I need for you to see what's going to happen, right? We already know it's not, in the book, it's going to do it as simple as possible, but it's everyone who has gone through this trailblazer journey, who has taken that leap and been the first, who have done it by themselves with no one there with them. When they read that book, they're like, yo, I went through that. I went through this. I went through that. Like, they're like sitting here, telling you, because they're like, yo, this book really, I did outline exactly what I went through. And that's why I created that space, because I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to say, you know what, Tanisha, I can't do it because my mom said I can't do it. But baby, I know my mama told me I couldn't do a lot of things. And it wasn't because she didn't believe in me. It was because of her own fear, right? So this is what we have to understand as a community. Paula said, yeah, folks will project their anxiety and fear all the time. They do, girl. And this is why, like, you have to have that self-belief, or you got to put yourself in that community. Put yourself in that space. And I'm going to tell you, I wish I had a space like that. When I first started this journey as a coach, as an inspirational speaker, I did it because I wanted to give people a space that I didn't have. I didn't have that. I didn't have anyone to speak life into me, to tell me that I had it. Literally, God was sending me out there into the world, and he was just like putting me into spaces. And next thing you know, I'm up here like in the room with individuals that have done the same exact thing and more that I have done. I've worked in the music industry. Sometimes I had to tap into some of those old artists, because again, they also were doing the same thing. Although it was in music, I'm doing something very similar. I'm the first to do it. So I had to tap into those resources. But I wish that I had a solid community that I can go to and be like, yo, my mom said some crazy stuff. Yo, I don't like what she said. I think I'm about to give up because she's sounding right. And it's like, no, this time mom might not be right. This time your best friend might not be right. Right? Because they just don't see it. And you hear people say all the time, God didn't give them the vision because it wasn't a conference call. Absolutely, it wasn't a conference call. God gave it to you. It's going to make sense to you. Same way, whatever dream that God gave them and they haven't followed through because it didn't make sense to them, when you listen to that dream, it still might not make sense to you, because it's only supposed to have been between you and God, and then for you to go out there and to execute it. Right? The world is going to see the fruits of that. But at the end of the day, that initial conversation, that first season, you got to get so close to God to hear him. This is why I say, if you're in those spaces that's going to push you to God, right? Being here every morning with Morning Inspiration with friends is going to tap into giving you the inspiration to have those uncomfortable conversations with God, have those uncomfortable conversations with yourself, because this is something that you need, right? So This whole process is going to definitely heal you. It's going to open up some wounds. You might not recognize certain things at the end, but I'm telling you, it is definitely the most amazing journey ever. The last point that I have is that so many times, when we hear about trailblazers, we are extraordinary people. And so many times people will look at themselves, well, I'm just ordinary. So that means that I can't do anything inspirational. I can't do anything that's going to be major. But let me tell you, ordinary can equally turn into extraordinary. Right? So many other people that are out here doing the great things, we don't know them. We don't know who they are. They're not out here on social media. They're not on YouTube, but they're still out here doing it quietly and they're doing major impactful things. You can be that level of inspiration. You could be that level of trailblazers. Everyone doesn't have to be, right? I do believe that people like myself, we are called to come out and speak to the masses, to encourage you all to take that walk and to take that leap, right? I truly believe that. And I do believe there's going to be some that we're never going to know of, right? Like we know the Rosa Parks. But do you know there how many others said no as well? A lot of others said no. Rosa Parks wasn't the only one that said no. But we didn't know those other names, right? But those other names went out there and they was doing some damage too. They was out here breaking some barriers as well. So we have to just find a way that we're going to do it and believe that we are extraordinary and that we can go out here. And I'm telling you, that one yes can be the obedience that God needs. That's going to be a ripple effect for not just today for you, but for your generations thereafter. Right? Sometimes the one yes is going to be, it's going to shake everything else. It's going to be so impacted that your other family, they're going to be sitting around talking about you. I remember, when my, my great grandmother, Tanisha, when she moved to Oklahoma, like, I don't know what's going to be the magic of Oklahoma, right? I mean, I found my happiness. I found my peace here. I love it. I love having access to the sun. I found my jelly bean in Oklahoma. I don't know what else I'm gonna find in Oklahoma, but I just don't know. I often could think about that. Like, what if I do plant seeds here and plant roots and start a family here? My children now, or my grandchildren, will be able to have these conversations about their grandmother moving from big city New York to mid-size, Tulsa has like 425,000 people here. So we're like mid-size. We're still on the smaller side. But she did that, and now fill in the blank, right? I don't know what's going to end up happening from today until the day I leave this world, whenever God desires that. But I hope that everything that I do, the books that I write, the courses that I have taught, this is why I do believe in, I put my stuff on the internet, I have access to it, because I don't know. No one knows. Like, I think about Dr. Miles Monroe. Dr. Miles Monroe, if you don't know, he was a religious leader. He was a teacher. Like, I love his teachings. I still go back and I watch his teachings. And Dr. Miles Monroe, like, him and his wife passed away in a plane crash, but we still have access to all of his teachings. His children has created their father's legacy, and they continue to let us to glean and to learn from him through his books and through the things that he have taught over the years. And they continue to put it out there so we have access to it. That's what I would love to have for my children, right? So you just don't think about it for you. Don't think about your resources today. Don't think about your heart today. I want you to think about your children's children, right? The kids that are not here, your nieces and nephews that are going to be dependent on you, especially if you do decide not to have children, right? And that's okay too. That's not my problem. Not today, right? So I do want to give you two things, right? The first thing I want to offer you is an opportunity. You can join Inspirational Trailblazers. If you already feel like you're that trailblazer and you're like, I need a space and I don't feel supported, my family doesn't understand me, and it's causing you to sit at a standstill and you're not making progress, you're not doing the things that you know that you're supposed to be doing, then yes, go to my link tree, go to the link in the description actually. Right now, Inspirational Trailblazers has a 7-day free trial. Jump in there, look around. We got some courses already. We have some sessions that we have already done that you can spend time, at least a good month, going through what's already there. But what's to come, like I'm diving back into it because I know people need this. I know that someone out there is ready to take that leap of faith, but they are stuck because they don't have. And I get it. I understand it might not be easy for you to talk to yourself and to encourage yourself. You're going to learn that as well, right? Because that's one of the things that I teach all of my clients. You're going to have to, because guess what? Some days, Tanisha's not going to be available. Some days, I'm going to be on vacation. You might need an encouraging word at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm probably in my third sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning. So you need to be able to take yourself through that journey and get yourself back so that you can wake up the next day and still go out there and crush them goals. Whether it's just sending out one email, that's a goal that's hard for many people to do. To put in that application for that six-figure job that you don't believe that you deserve, or starting your LLC. There's so many different things that I have helped people to just start seeing that they can do it. It's not something that just seems totally outlandish and it's just like, oh, Tanisha, I can never do this. No, you can do it. You just have to get into the right space, the right mindset. You got to get into the right community. You got to get into the right environment, right? Some of you might need to start spending some time into nature. Like literally, I'm going to tell you, there's so many different aspects of how you can look at this depending on where you are. But again, if you know that you're supposed to be doing something and you're not comfortable getting started, I recommend that you join Inspirational Trailblazers. Like I said, all week we're going to be talking about different aspects of Trailblazers, helping you to understand that, to see it within yourself, right? So you see the title, Redefining the Trailblazer. It might look like you. You are the Trailblazer. It's not just me. It's you too. And I want you to get to that space. I want you to start going out there and doing what you're supposed to do. So as always, y'all know I have a prompt before I head out of here, right? So, where in your life are you already going first, even if no one sees it? Where right now? And I want you to really reflect on this. I really want you to reflect on this. So many times we'll see this. I'm not doing anything, but there is something out there. You are the first person in your family, and if not, look at your friend group, right? Sometimes your friend group has it. Many hands make light work. Yes, yes, right? So I'm telling y'all, like, I'm excited. I'm excited for this week's conversations. Teaching about something that I truly do love teaching about. Because I do speak about trailblazers often, but I don't think I've really like dived into this as to this level of that I'm going to do for this week. So we are at 23 minutes. We are going to stop here. Tomorrow we will be back. All right. Tomorrow we'll be back. We'll be continuing this conversation. I am going to preload. So not preload. I'm going to put in the photo and everything so that you can at least see the conversation that we're going to have tomorrow. Thank you, Paula. Paula enjoys our prompt for today. So definitely make sure. And again, if you're interested in learning about Inspirational Trailblazers, you get free 7 days. You can sign up, join, and join us over there. Paula is one of our Inspirational Trailblazers as well. But I'm excited, and I hope that you at least walk away with some understanding and see the aha moment within yourself. So back here tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern. I am your girl, Tanisha Shanae, and thank you for spending another time with me here on Morning Inspiration with Friends. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Have a good one, everyone. Happy Monday.